to the latest on the wildfire out west. More than 3,000 acres are burned. Thousands of people have been forced to evacuate. Trevor Alt is in the fire zone in Malibu.
The air, thick with smoke and the scent of burning dreams, choked Malibu as flames devoured the landscape. Show some B-roll of the Franklin fire. Late 2024 saw a series of devastating wildfires grip Southern California, with Malibu bearing the brunt of the Franklin fire. The fire burned about 15,000 acres of land, and the estimated cost of damage from the fire ranges from between $15 billion to even $75 billion. That only accounts for the cost of the lands that are now destroyed. When you account for the properties built on the land, we'll find that the magnitude of this fire borders on unthinkable. As of now, the number of lives that the fire has damaged or destroyed is currently unknown. However, former child star turned humanitarian Rory Sykes tragically burned to death on 8 January 2025. He was blind and suffered from cerebral palsy, meaning that the entire time that he was dying, he could feel but not see, ripping away at his essence from any which way until there was nothing left of him. This video is about Rory and the fire that killed him. He was a British-born Australian actor who had faced many challenges growing up. His differences made him an object of vitriol and pity growing up. However, in 1990, she appeared on a popular show. This would give him a reputation and a certain amount of shame, which let him use the momentum of his TV career to share his struggles and the struggles of those like him through activism. Those who knew him were fond of him and could confidently say that despite not being able to see, his kindness and warmth let him see things more clearly than anyone else. So when he died, those closest to him were completely devastated to learn that the boy that they once knew would no longer be there for them. The rolling hills of California are dry and rocky. They are not known as being heavily forested, and they aren't. So if there aren't a lot of trees, how did the fire start? Bushes and brushes are thick in the California area. A single electrical fire and the entire thicket would burst into flames. There are efforts to trim these bushes, especially around hiking trails and areas where people frequently tread upon them. There is too many wild bushes to trim, and trimming all the bushes would cause long-term damage to the environment. With the increasing number of people moving into California and the increasing amount of infrastructure and electrical lines which could malfunction, it's a surprise that there aren't more wildfires happening in the area. Unfortunately, a wildfire would erupt in late 2024. The fire was made worse by strong Santa Ana winds, which rapidly spread the flames. The initial cause was likely a minor electrical malfunction that threw sparks at a small bush. This would cause the bush to erupt into flames. This seemingly insignificant incident quickly got out of hand as embers being blown in the wind igniting other bushes, which quickly spread across the entire mountainside and eventually spread into the Malibu area. This was a fiery tomb encasing the city, likely causing widespread damage and injuries. To further complicate the situation, water supplies had been cut off to the Malibu area, leaving residents and firefighters virtually defenseless against the advancing blaze. This critical water shortage severely hampered firefighting efforts, as residents lacked the means to extinguish small fires around their properties, and the local fire department was likely overwhelmed with numerous other firefighting requests, further delaying response times. Fire had erupted from the roof of the Sykes house. The warm glow of the flames lashed down at Rory and his mother Shelley, who was made instantly aware of the fire's presence. She had been hearing news that the fire may have gotten into Malibu and was too scared to leave the house because that's where the fire was. However, here it is, in her home. The flames had hunted her down and were breaking through the ceiling. Before she could act, pillars of wood crashed down from the ceiling, snapping her arm under the weight of it and breaking it. However, she was lucky. She had not been trapped under the beam. The house was falling apart. And unfortunately, Rory couldn't save himself because he couldn't navigate. He was too blind to know where he was going, and under the unstable conditions of the house, it was impossible for him to figure out where he could go. Electricity ran through Shelley's body. She got up, and in spite of her heart blasting out of her chest and the adrenaline in her veins, she failed to save her son. She was able to get out of the house, intense heat petering out into a warm glow. However, she could hear her son screaming for help from under the blazing inferno. But soon, ashes. Rory Sykes was born on July 29, 1992. He was born blind with cerebral palsy. However, he defied the odds and was able to thrive despite the unfair hand that he had been given. He had undergone numerous struggles and challenges in his life due to disabilities. Simple everyday tasks were a nightmare for him. Blindness had made it close to impossible to move around the house, and cerebral palsy had drastically gotten in the way of his ability to function and do basic hand-eye coordination. Despite this, he can thrive, proudly displaying the fact that he can play the video game RuneScape on his X, formerly Twitter account. However, despite this, he was able to land a spot as a child actor on the British TV show Kitty Capers, captivating audiences with his talent and determination. They were enamored by the spectacle of seeing a young blind boy with poor hand-eye coordination and a debilitating mental condition thrive despite his woes. This inspired many people to keep fighting despite their troubles. Later, he became a motivational speaker. His own experiences and struggles had made him very empathetic to other people. This let him touch the hearts of those who listened to him. He was known to be kind and friendly to anyone and everyone he met, and it was said that his smile was so genuine that he practically glowed. However, tragedy befell him, and his life was cut short in the Malibu fires. His loss was deeply felt by those closest to him. He not only survived, but thrived. He overcame seemingly insurmountable obstacles, his early success as a child actor. Later in life, Rory became a motivational speaker, sharing his experiences with empathy and kindness. His genuine smile and unwavering positivity touched the hearts of countless individuals. Tragically, his life was cut short in the Malibu fires, leaving a profound void in the lives of those who knew him. The fire had caused a lot of suffering to the community. It had catastrophic consequences on the community. This was because the fire had caused many social and economic effects on the damages to the local community. Officially speaking, the number of people killed or injured by the fire is currently unknown due to the scale and damage of the fire. This is entirely due to the recency of the fire and the fact that the fire has made transit into or out of the affected areas close to impossible. However, what we can gather is that many people likely received first, second, and third-degree burns all over their body. However, unfortunately, some people were likely not so lucky and burned in the fire. The fire burned down many homes, workplaces, and physical assets, meaning many people lost their places of work and homes, meaning that people were now homeless and jobless. This resulted in mass poverty among the survivors of the fire. As of now, the situation is slightly under control because they are receiving humanitarian aid. However, this aid will eventually need to leave. The fire didn't burn away at just these people's assets and physical health. It also burned away at the mental health of the survivors. The loss of loved ones, the sudden homelessness, and the trauma of surviving a fire left widespread mental health issues among survivors. The one essential thing you need in any wildfire situation is water. It is common knowledge that water drowns out fires. Because of this, no matter how bad the fire was, all the firefighters had to do was spray some water at the issue, and then the issue would be solved. That is, of course, assuming that they had water. They were in Malibu, of course they have water. They had water, right? There were water shortages in Malibu. This caused significant issues for residents in the areas and firefighting units. The reason for this is that they couldn't take action themselves. However, the local firefighting services were crippled by the water shortage, meaning that they were not able to do their jobs. Because of this, the fire went on uncontested, resulting in the fire burning through the town without slowing down. This made all the previously mentioned effects on people's money, wellness, and mental health worse as more and more people were permanently singed by the fire and the damage it caused. The Malibu fires had a devastating impact on the community. The scale of the disaster resulted in numerous casualties, including severe burns and fatalities. The fires destroyed homes and businesses, leading to widespread homelessness, unemployment, and poverty. The trauma of the fires had a profound impact on the mental health of survivors, with many struggling with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. A critical water shortage in Malibu severely hampered firefighting efforts, allowing the fires to spread unchecked and exacerbate the damage. This combination of factors created a complex humanitarian crisis with long-lasting consequences for the affected community. The Franklin Fire, a ferocious wildfire that erupted in Malibu, California in December 2024, left an indelible mark on the community. Fueled by strong Santa Ana winds, the fire tore through over 4,000 acres of land, destroying homes, forcing evacuations, and casting a long shadow over the idyllic coastal town. The blaze, which ignited near Malibu Creek State Park, quickly escalated, fueled by dry conditions and unpredictable wind gusts. Pepperdine University, nestled amidst the hills, was directly impacted, leading to temporary campus closures and evacuations. Students and faculty were forced to evacuate, their academic pursuits abruptly interrupted by the encroaching flames. The sight of flames engulfing the picturesque landscape, a stark contrast to the usual serenity of the region, was a devastating blow to residents and visitors alike. The fire's impact extended far beyond the immediate destruction. The economic consequences were significant. Businesses, from local boutiques and restaurants to tourism-dependent industries, were forced to close temporarily, and in some cases permanently. The loss of revenue, coupled with the disruption to daily life, had a profound impact on the local economy. The environmental damage was equally profound. The fire ravaged the natural landscape, destroying acres of chaparral, a unique and ecologically important plant community. The loss of vegetation not only impacted local wildlife, but also contributed to soil erosion and increased the risk of future mudslides. The delicate balance of the ecosystem was disrupted, and the long-term environmental consequences of the fire are still being assessed. However, the human toll of the Franklin Fire was perhaps the most poignant. Among the tragic losses was the life of Rory Sykes, a beloved humanitarian and former child star. Born blind and with cerebral palsy, Rory overcame immense challenges to become an advocate for disability rights, inspiring countless individuals with his resilience and spirit. His untimely death in the fire served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating impact of natural disasters. The Franklin Fire serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of even the most idyllic of landscapes to the forces of nature. It underscores the urgent need for proactive measures to mitigate the risks of wildfires. These measures include improved fire prevention strategies. This includes controlled burns to reduce fuel loads, creating defensible spaces around homes, and strengthening public education campaigns on fire safety. Enhanced water infrastructure. Investing in robust water infrastructure, including expanded water storage and improved water distribution systems, is crucial for firefighting efforts. Increased community preparedness. This involves developing and implementing comprehensive emergency response plans, improving communication systems, and ensuring that all residents are aware of evacuation routes and safety protocols. As Malibu begins the long road to recovery, the memories of the Franklin Fire will serve as a poignant reminder of the importance of resilience, community support, and the enduring spirit of the human spirit in the face of adversity. The community must come together to rebuild, support those affected, and learn from this experience to better prepare for future challenges.